Good morning, children. So, we were discussing the third chapter of history, the Delhi Sultan. In this chapter, we have seen the different rulers of the Delhi, right from the 1165 till 1489. After that, we have discussed about finding out about the Delhi Sultans. How can we find about the Delhi Sultans? We can find about the Delhi Sultans from the manuscripts. And in this picture you can see the 4 stages of making the manuscript paper is also given. The paper as well as making of manuscript. All 4 stages are given over here. After that we have seen the circle of justice. In this point we have seen that how a king is dependent on soldiers, soldiers are dependent on salaries, and salaries are coming from the peasants who are giving the revenue, as well as the peasants are also dependent upon the prosperity of the peasants, and this prosperity depends upon how the government promotes the justice and honest to the peasants. In this way, in this point we have tried to understand all the people, right from the king to the peasant, all are connected to each other, and in this way the circle of justice completes. Then after that we have seen the meaning of the birthright, gender distinction, what Minaz Siraz has said about the Razia Sultan. Then from garrison town to empire, the expansion of the Delhi Sultanate we have seen. In this we some of the points like hinterland and garrison town we have seen. What is garrison town? A fortified settlement with soldiers, where the soldiers are living. Such kind of town is called as the garrison town, and these garrison towns were normally fortified. Hinterland, the meaning of the hinterland also we have tried to understand. The land adjacent to the city or port that supply it with goods and services. We have tried to understand the meaning of hinterland. The land which provides goods and services around the adjacent area of the city or port is called as the hinterland. So in this way we have also seen the internal and external campaigns of the Delhi Sultanate, aim to controlling the hinterlands and of the garrison town. And for controlling the hinterland of the garrison town, the Sultanate first campaign started in the internal frontier, and after that the second campaign started to take place to the external frontiers. In this way, in the second expansion or the second campaign of the Delhi Sultanate, the Delhi Sultanate moved toward the southern part of the country. As you can see over here with the help of the arrows over here, some directions of the campaign is shown over here, right from Delhi to Warangal, from Delhi then till Tanjavur. The campaigns took place in the reign of Delhi Sultans. Now today we are going to see some of the important monuments that we can see in this picture like this. We will try to understand that who built this monuments and what was the reason behind it, why they constructed it. As you can see in this figure number 2, Quwwat al-Islam Mosque. It is a mosque which is named as Quwwat al-Islam, and minarets built during the last. You can see over here this way the mosque or this minaret. These all the mosques and minarets were built in the 12th century. And this was the congregational mosque of the first city built by the Delhi Sultans. So whatever the mosque you can see in this picture, it was the first city built. It was the first mosque built in the Delhi Sultanate in the city, and this is explained by the chronicle in Delhi-e-Kohana. Delhi-e-Kohana means old city. The mosque was enlarged by Iltutmish. See, various rulers have tried to make this mosque large and larger. So various rulers have also contributed in this, like Iltutmish enlarged this mosque, as well as Alauddin Khalji also enlarged it. The minar was built by this minar. You can see this minar. This long minar was built by Kutubuddin Aibak, and also increased by Iltutmish and Firuz Shah Tughlaq. So this. Now masjid. What is masjid basically? Masjid is a mosque is called a masjid in Arabic language. Literally, the meaning of the masjid or mosque means a place where the Muslim prostrates are going for reverence to Allah. Means where the Muslims are going for prayer, basically for praying to the God. In the congregational mosque, masjid is jami or jama masjid. The congregational mosque in the Urdu or Arabic language is called as the masjid-e-jami or jama masjid. Muslims read their prayers, namaz together over here, and members of congregation choose the most respected learned male as their leader. Members of congregation means who? Members of the mosque. These mosque members are choosing their leader, a learned male, as their leader, and they are called as the imam. And why they are choosing their leader? To we can say for the rituals, for offering the rituals and prayer to the God, they are choosing their leader or their imam. He also delivers, who? The imam or the leader also delivers a sermon that is called as the khutbah in Urdu language or Arabic language during the Friday prayer. So during prayer, Muslims stand facing towards the Mecca. Mecca is situated in the Arabian country, Arabian peninsula. In India, this is to the west, and therefore this is called as the Qibla. Qibla means what? Qibla means direction. So the main direction of prayer to the Muslims is the western direction, because the Mecca is toward the west. Now here you can see the picture of a. This masjid is called as the Begumpuri Mosque, and it was built in the reign of Muhammad Tughlaq. It was the main mosque of the Jahapana. You would have seen the Jahapana over here in the first page of the chapter. As you can see here in this map, you will see it is a map of Delhi. One of the important city of the Delhi was Jahapana over here, and in this Jahapana, this mosque was built by the Muhammad Tughlaq. Now, the Delhi Sultans built several mosques in the cities all over the subcontinent. This demonstrated their claims to be the protectors of Islam and Muslims. Mosques and helped to create the sense of community of believers who shared a belief system and code of conduct. It was necessary to reinforce this idea of community because Muslims came from a variety of backgrounds. So here it is saying subcontinent. And what this demonstrate basically? This demonstrate that they were, or the Delhi Sultans were the protectors of the Islam and Muslims. Mosque also helped. The mosque which were constructed by the Delhi Sultans, this mosque also helped to create the sense of community of believers who shared a belief system and code of conduct. Means they in the Muslim religion there is a common belief as well as a complete code of conduct that how a person should live a life, what should be the philosophy of the life, that is actually explained by the code of conduct. And it was very necessary to enforce all these ideas of the community. You know why? Because the Muslims came from the variety of backgrounds, because Muslims were not from a particular part of the country, but they were coming from the different parts of the world. The mosques were constructed, and with the help of mosques, the Delhi Sultans were trying to protect the Islam as well as the Muslims. Here some masjids are also shown. We're going to see the next point, that is a closer look administration and consolidation under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs. So we are going to understand that how the Khaljis and Tughlaqs have consolidated their administration. Actually, consolidation means what? Making together. If some things are disposed here and there, so when all these things are made together, that is called as consolidated. So here administration and consolidation under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs, that we are going to see here. So the consolidation of a kingdom as vast as the Delhi Sultanate needed reliable governors and administrators rather than appointing aristocrats and landed chieftains as governors. The early Delhi Sultans, especially Iltutmish, favored their special slaves purchased for military service called Bandagan in Persian. They were carefully trained to man some of the most important political offices in the kingdom. Since they were totally dependent upon their master, the Sultan could trust and rely upon them. So here it is said that the consolidation of the kingdom or making the kingdom one was very important at that time. And for this, the governors and administrators were needed, which were reliable. Reliable means to and for that, rather appointing aristocrats and landed chieftains as governors, means those who are already on the some important positions in the Sultanate, like aristocrat and landed chieftains and governors. In place of them, the early Delhi Sultans, especially like Iltutmish, favored their special slaves purchased for military service. You know, that time some slaves were also purchased. That time the human were sold as the slaves. So that time the sultans like Iltutmish favored their slaves who were purchased, the slaves which were basically purchased for military services, and these slaves were called as Bandagan, and these Bandagan were called, the slaves were called as the Bandagan in the Persian language. So these slaves were favored to take control over the different parts of the kingdom and consolidate it, and they were carefully trained. These Bandagans were carefully trained to man some of the most important political offices in the kingdom. So to give some of the important offices of the kingdom, these Bandagans were carefully trained so that they will work properly, since they were totally dependent upon their master. See, master were who? The sultans were the master. They means who? The Bandagan were completely depended upon their master or the sultan. The sultan were completely trusting and relying upon their Bandagans for consolidating the kingdoms. So about the consolidation and the administration of the Khalji and Tughlaq's kingdom or the Sultanate, we are going to understand in detail in the next period. Till then, thank you very much, and we will discuss all these points in the next period.